Hi everyone, welcome to the Mandy Show. Today we bring you somebody who is spectacular, well, in my opinion. She is Jenny Martin. She's highly qualified and experienced human in the loop. She's the collaboration coach, a trainer, a creator, and a coach for high performing teams. And without further ado, let's say hello to Jenny. Hi, Jenny.
Hi, Mandy.
How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Feeling very special.
Well, you are special. You really are. Jenny, we met a while ago. I think it was on a Lego event, or maybe, I don't know, actually, because you just do loads of things. And we'll get to that. We'll get to the kind of what stuff you do. But I'm intrigued to know your story because you've got a backstory.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure people out there, you know, who follow you, who know you, you know, what you do, they would love to hear it. So my question for you is, talk about your early career. You know, like what moments shaped your career? Who has been, like, you know, a really big mentor or influencer for you growing up or in your career, early career time? So yeah, talk us through some of that.
Okay. So I graduated with a degree in psychology in the early 90s, and then just fell into tech completely by accident. So I started as a tester, managed to get this job for a big American consulting company called Perot Systems, run by Ross Perot, who later, I think, had already actually founded EDS, a big consulting company. And they had some values actually that still stick with me now. So things like seek to understand before you seek to be understood, things like that. And they had a real kind of strong set of morals and principles. So that guided me. And yeah, I managed to just get promoted through that company. They sent me to Dallas on a boot camp for 4 months to kind of turn me into a technical person. So I had like 17 different exams and working through the night and stuff like that. So that was like quite a full-on experience.
Wow.
So I did consulting around Europe, worked for them for 8 years. Mostly test management was the thing that I did. And yeah, kind of fell into that, and then I got a big proper job working for Nectar when Nectar just started, the loyalty program, right when it started.
Yeah.
I helped set up all their test practices, and I was there for quite a while, leading teams. By the time I left there, I was running the delivery team. And I guess during that time, yeah, I managed to spend like 20 years in tech by accident.
But just purely by accident?
Just having fallen into it without knowing what I was going to do.
Wow.
But I guess the whole time, the thing that really motivated me, even though kind of was involved in all the early agile stuff and, you know, on the conference scene around practices like BDD and all of those kinds of things, the stuff that really motivated me was always the team stuff, always the people stuff, always that feeling that you get. I know you get it too, because I know we're quite aligned.
We are.
That feeling that you get when everybody is working together, everyone's feeling motivated, they're doing their best work, they're all contributing in ways that kind of play to their strengths, they're all thriving and happy, and you're doing awesome stuff together. So that was the stuff that really, really motivated me.
I'm really curious to find out, so you fell into this technology world. Do you think doing the psychology degree helped you with the, say, aspect of trust? You know, like, the reason I'm asking is, you know, I know people who have done degrees and we kind of mention this between colleagues and families and friends, I'm not really doing what I did in my degree. So, how did that trust happen when you...
So that's quite an interesting thing, because I think the reason I did my psychology degree was because I was so interested in people and how people are wired. And I think when you approach like a leadership position, when you're genuinely curious about the people in your team and you want them to feel good about themselves and included, that all really helps. So in that time in my early career and other roles I had after that, a very male-dominated environment. So I was a senior leader in tech. Most of the time I'd be in meetings and every other person in the room would be male. And I guess I had a slightly different approach, which wasn't always very well understood. And then now I know, so I'm rambling a little bit, missed out a big chunk, but a couple of years ago I did a postgrad in the psychology of kindness and well-being. And in that postgrad, we covered so much research about what really makes people flourish and perform and be engaged at work. And all the stuff that I felt passionate about is really true. So if you think about leadership styles going back 25, 30 years, I guess it was more command and control style then. But I always really believed that wasn't the way to do it, and that it didn't work. So I guess doing that postgrad really underlined to me how, no, actually approaching your team with that trust comes both ways, right? With trust and with wanting them to genuinely do well and be their best selves actually gets the most out of people.
And like when you joined early on at this company, they sent you off to America. I mean, they must have seen that potential within you to do that. How did you manage that sort of time period and then just continuing to grow and go with the kind of things that you've done, because you've moved on as well, like you've been in the technology world, and like what's kind of like influenced you to give you that kind of, I don't know, how did you get that confidence?
I think I've mostly been quite a confident person, but there's been a theme. I think I really value being valued and accepted, and most of the places I've worked, I've been lucky enough to have somebody who is my advocate. Somebody who's in my corner. And I guess in the early days, there was one manager in particular who I've been in contact even recently, who really encouraged me. And I remember getting a Most Valuable Player award. That was before I knew MVP in the new sense, right? Most Valuable Player award, and just being really, really publicly appreciated and supported, which made a huge difference to me in those early times. And then, being supported on that program that sent me out to the States. I think that did make a difference.
So just gleaning on some of the nuggets that you're just talking about, how the support is important, and how you've continued to just kind of grow and carry on believing in your underpinned values of like kindness and positivity. I remember I got an award early on in my career, which was communication. Apparently I was the best communicator within that company. It was like a startup company. Do you think your kind of early career and your career and yourself has been sort of shaped by your upbringing? Do you think is there anything there that's also influenced you and, given you the kind of value structure you have?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think so. My mum actually was a teacher, and I never wanted to be a teacher. She used to teach small kids, primary school. She used to come home completely exhausted from it, and I'd be trying to get her attention, and she'd be so exhausted. I understand now, right, being a trainer, how much it takes out of you. I think so. She's not with us anymore, but if she were to see me now, designing workshops and doing facilitation and putting together all these learning materials, I think she'd be quite proud of me. So I wonder if I get some of that from her. They were very kind of I remember my mum saying to me, don't have expectations of other people, and I think that helped me feel responsible for my own stuff and not judge other people. So she was quite wise in that way. My dad was my hero. He died when I was 25. Oh. In actual fact, this was during my early career at Perot Systems, and the way that they dealt with it really shaped me. So the support they gave me when that happened was quite remarkable. But yeah, he was silly and funny and loving and
beautiful. It sounds like you've just had that grounding from day one. Just sounds to
I think so. I do feel quite privileged, very privileged in that way. We didn't have loads of money or anything like that, but I had happy, solid family home, decent school, and
got dinner in the evenings.
I do feel grateful.
That's lovely. It definitely comes across like you come from real kind of strength. I think. I mean, my backgrounds similar to the degree of the value system. We were always taught never to hurt someone's feelings. That it starts with it starts there, and always keep positive thoughts, because what you're programming, the seeds you sow then kind of form into actions. And so I've always been brought up that way. I struggled a little bit because I used to think, oh no, I can't hurt someone, I can't, and it's strange because now there's a lot of material available about the kind of people we are, the personalities, and you're a people pleaser. And I don't think there's anything wrong, personally, if you are a people pleaser, because it's about making sure that you're okay as well, that you're not putting yourself in danger, or you're not hurting yourself by pleasing, because I don't know, doesn't it go hand in hand with kindness?
Yeah, completely. I mean, I've been passionate about understanding people, understanding yourself and understanding other people, and I'm a strengths coach, and you've been a strengths coach as well. You're a strengths coach too. So I believe that we're all kind of perfectly configured as we are. And things like kindness, which is an enormous strength, and personality is quite genetic. There's a big genetic component to our personalities. Our propensity to have certain traits in abundance or not have them so much is something that comes with our genetics. So there is a genetic component to being a kind person. That is a strength, right? It's a strength, having empathy, being able to understand how other people feel, wanting to harmonize and help people feel good and work together. That's an enormous strength. So I don't like the word people pleaser either. Now, of course, what comes for free with our beautiful, unique configuration and our qualities from the universe, what comes for free with those things is the shadow side. If it's dialed up too high. And so if you're a naturally kind and trusting person, you're probably more likely to overlook your own needs, or be overly attentive to somebody else's, or overly trusting. But they come from a place of huge strength.
Definitely.
So I embrace that.
Yeah, definitely. No, that's so true. So, you've kind of mentioned your mentors or influencers. Is there anybody else you feel is influencing you still?
Oh, crikey, loads of people. So, big influences in the software development world around working more collaboratively. People like Goiko Adzik, who wrote a book called The Communication Gap, I think, something like that.
I think so, yeah.
And then Specification by Example. That was really about how teams collaborate when they're doing kind of technical stuff. So that certainly influenced my specialties in the tech space and the book that I'm in the middle of writing. In terms of other people, I've had some really solid friends and colleagues. Like there's a guy called Pete Buckney, who we were really aligned on in things we were working on. This is going back about, 15 years, maybe a bit less than that. I've known him for a long time. And he's always been really great for bouncing ideas off, and also a very compassionate, kind person. Then there's people in the facilitation world that I look up to. There's just too many to name.
No, yeah.
And then I think this is like the transition that I've made more recently is away from the focus of tech, where I guess I was a minority of people focused on people and holding space, and now I've moved more into the facilitation world, more purely doing that. There's an abundance of people who have those strengths, which has been really nice to have so many more peers who come from the same place that I do. So yeah, there's too many to mention in that space, I think.
So talk about facilitation. Talk about that. What is it?
What is it?
Yeah, what is it? If we were to put it out there.
So I think it's about not being. When you're facilitating well, it's really not to do with you at all. It's to do with the group. And it's to do with the group achieving what they need to achieve, being able to contribute fully, gently guiding and transparently steering to help them make their own decisions and navigate their own challenges, to make sure that everybody is heard, to set the scene and the environment for people to feel comfortable and to feel that they can thrive and that they can be themselves. So those are all the things that you do in the moment. I guess there's a whole other load of stuff around designing workshops and training and sessions that allow you to do that, that allow for the creative thinking and also the synthesis. There's a lot to it.
We're going to talk more. We're going to have a little break and do a little 60-second fun kind of question.
Okay.
Just to kind of lighten the, this really powerful session that we're having. So, here you go. What are you terrible at but secretly enjoy?
Oh my goodness.
This is a tricky one. It really is tricky. But don't worry, if you can't think of something, we'll move on to another one.
There's things I'm terrible at.
But we sometimes just keep going back to it. We just kind of like, I know, like for me, what was it? Sprinting. I'm terrible at it. I just always just go and put my trainers on and pretend I can sprint. I can't.
Well, I suppose, yes. I do yoga almost every day.
Oh, wonderful.
But I've got the most non-yoga physique in the world. I mean, most yoga people that you see are about 9 foot tall and all stringy. and I'm the opposite of that. So there's I've been doing it for 20 years and there's still poses that I can't do, and I think that my knees are on the wrong way round. But there's one yogi person who is on my kind of playlist who says it's not what you look like in these postures, it's how you feel. So I try and channel that.
It's so true. I mean, Buddha has got a big belly and is relaxed, and we kind of look at Buddha in that, it's like, it doesn't matter what you look like.
What are you saying?
Not you. No, not you. Specifically Buddha. The thing is, it's weird, isn't it, how we kind of get brainwashed almost into thinking this is what it looks like. Anything, like you just said with the yoga, and it's a weird kind of concept. And it's interesting how, you're a strength coach. You can't really tell. You can't really say, oh, a people pleaser looks like this, or can you? Can you tell? Are there things that people you can?
I don't know. I mean, I've studied personality science for quite a long time, so I kind of notice. I don't want to go through all the personalities, but there's some real key pillars of personality which are all different from each other. This research it's called the Big Five personality traits, which has been around for decades, but is very solid in terms of researched. And so I notice people that I think are naturally curious, or I notice people that I think are naturally agreeable, or those sorts of things. But we are so unique. So one of the things that intrigues me about strengths, and I'm drawn to the sorts of methods that are really unique and don't label you as blue or green or something like that. So I like the ones where your configuration of particular strengths is like 1 in 33 million or something like that. So I guess in fact, one of my top strengths, this is Gallup Clifton Strengths, is individualisation. Which is about appreciating the beauty and individualness of every person. And so I can't bear being labelled or put in a box. So I certainly wouldn't notice somebody and think, oh, you're one of those.
No.
But I am naturally extremely curious about people and want to see the best in them, like in everyone.
I think that's why you're so popular.
Oh.
So thank you for that 60-second. So Jenny, what is it that you're doing? It's like, what do you do? What's your current role, your current kind of position? What would, not yoga, but what's your work thing now?
I guess moving on from the kind of 25 years in tech, I set up my own company. This is nearly 15 years ago, because I recognised at that point that I really valued the bit about people working together.
Yeah.
And so back then I set up my own company running training in collaborative software development techniques, but also facilitation. And so for a while I was doing tech consulting and coaching alongside training and workshops. And then about 3 years ago I decided, as my client list for training and workshops and facilitation was growing, I decided to focus on that. So for the last 3 years, I guess I've been the collaboration coach.
Yeah.
And I still do tech consulting and work with teams on how they work together and work effectively, kind of at the sharper end. But the theme of what I do is about collaboration.
Yeah.
So I do workshop design and facilitation, helping teams achieve things together. I do a lot of training I still do public speaking training.
Nice.
I do authentic communication training. I do a training course called Forging Stronger Teams, which is about teams getting to know each other, themselves, strength-based stuff, non-violent communication. So that keeps me busy, training, workshops. I'm also writing a book, which is very exciting, and involved in. I was saying to somebody the other day, I've got tendrils. I've got like tendrils that are involved in different things. So I also freelance for a few different companies, doing training with them. So I also do EDI training, equity, diversity, inclusion. I collaborate a lot. I'm co-founder of a conference called the Inclusive Facilitation Exchange.
Nice.
Which
Very
is all
nice.
about designing for neurodiversity.
Wow.
And
talk a bit more about that then. Why do we need to care about that?
So I'm neurotypical, I think. But what's always motivated me, even before things like neurodiversity became something that we're focusing on more, has been, like I mentioned, that kind of desire for everybody to reach their potential and flourish. And the Inclusive Facilitation Exchange is about levelling up facilitation and workshop design so that everybody can contribute to their best. And so that has to include people with ADHD, people who are dyslexic, people who have autism spectrum disorder. You know, it really does mean thinking about how you make learning more accessible. And so I've been deeply into that the last couple of years. Yeah. And my friend and I, Jane, she has ADHD, and she's passionate about this kind of thing too. So earlier this year, we set up our first Inclusive Facilitation Exchange conference. It's a not-for-profit, and it was just a complete dream. And we were like, go large or go home. And it was amazing.
Oh,
yeah. So the next one is next year in Neurodiversity Week in March. And we're just really ramping up on getting going for that. So yeah, I've got loads of tendrils.
Yeah, you're doing lots of things. How do you manage it? How do you... Because you're writing a book and doing all this other work.
I think that I work best when I'm busy.
Okay.
I think most mothers will recognise that as well. You become, I think, hyper productive. I don't know if you're like this, but
well, I did have there was a point in time in my life where I was doing a degree, working, teaching fitness, and raising my 2 small kids.
Yeah.
So
I think you get into that. Well, I noticed that, you know, when my son was small, that I'd be making a cup of tea and I'd be like, can I load and unload the dishwasher in the time it takes for the kettle to boil? Do you know what I mean? All of that parallel sort of kind of, and so yeah, I think I just
do you sort of gamify it?
A little bit. I think I'm so lucky that I work for myself. So almost everything that I'm doing, I'm really enjoying doing.
Yeah.
And so I'm in that zone. Most of the time I'm doing my thing. I'm in that zone. And so I kind of can zoom through stuff.
You are such a power rocket. You're just amazing. I did say to my daughter one day, because I'm kind of like, I've done loads and I've been really busy raising 3 kids on my own and getting them all sorted out. So I like to think I don't have to, you know, be so busy. I like the quiet times as well. But then I fall into a trap of the kitchen's a mess, or, you know, the dishes not put away, or so then I think to myself, I don't like that. And I remember talking to a lady who's an ADHD coach, and just you know, like finding joy, you know, like that joy thing. And I remember saying to my daughter, oh, I did the kitchen last night, I tidied it all up. She said, oh, well done, Mum. I pretended I was you. Because my daughter's just like, she just loves everything to be put away, and, you know, just within seconds you go into a room and it's all just like in an order. But yeah, I think that the gamify, or kind of having that kind of mindset, can you create it? I mean, I just used her persona. I thought, right, I'm her. I manifested I was her.
That's a great way of doing it.
And I just, do you have any hints and tips for people out there similar to you, like they've got lots of things they want to achieve, and how do you kind of manage it with a calmness that you've got, this lovely, beautiful calmness. I mean, I'm sitting here and I'm just oozing it all, from you.
Oh,
just sapping it all up.
I don't know. I think the calmness for me has come more with age and acceptance and things like that. Do you know what I mean? When if I look back 20 or 30 years, I wasn't remotely calm. I was desperate to speak all the time and have, get my opinion across and I want to speak. But I guess I've just got more comfortable in myself. I think perhaps that comes across. In terms of work stuff, I try not to do things that I don't enjoy. That's why I like collaborating with people. So Jane and I on the IFE work really well together. We've got really different strengths. She's brilliant at detail and research, and she's really tenacious, and we'll go and bang doors down and get things done. And I'm a really high level person. I'm really kind of, I'm sure that's fine, and and so we meet somewhere in the middle. So I guess I'm lucky that I everything I do I'm enjoying doing.
How do organisations kind of utilize what you've got, with your friend Jane? How can they balance that? How do they do these?
In terms of replicating that in the workplace? That's
exactly, yes, that synergy. Not having the same people, but having people who can kind of be compatible. But you know what I mean? It's how do they?
I think it's recognizing, coming back again to recognizing strengths. So if you know what your natural strengths are and your natural capabilities, but you also know what your colleagues' strengths are, you might notice that they have strengths that are very different to you, and that represents an opportunity where you might work really well together. So if one person is really strong in kind of holding somebody to account and giving really clear directions and taking accountability and achievement and all of those things, they might work really well with somebody who is harmony and empathetic and more people focused rather than task focused. So if you're aware of that, then you can put people like that together. And they can do really awesome stuff.
So I'm going to ask you a question. Can you walk us through a recent big decision and how you made it?
Okay, so I guess the biggest one was the one I just mentioned about making this deliberate decision to go completely freelance and not do any more contracting. So this is even within my company. So that was definitely scary. I'm the breadwinner in my house. Always have been. So the thought of not having a regular income was quite frightening. How did I make that decision? I think maybe just some principles from our world of Agile as well about having, giving something a go and seeing what's the harm in running an experiment, right? And then still keeping options open. So I guess that was part of it. It's confidence in myself and what I could do. And I think that's probably based on support from other people and encouragement.
Because quite generous is kind of really, it's a generating kind of way to be, like the way that you are. We talk about things that are revenue generating, but the community generating that you've done and you do is quite huge, isn't it? With the whole kind of the conference, setting that up.
So I guess I've done loads of things, lots of collaborations, lots of talks, lots of, projects that I've done for free in the past. And I just have had, I think I've got lots of peers who would not do that or be worried about it, minimizing your offering or your value. But for me, I don't know. I don't think it's been a problem. Normally Goodwill comes back around.
Yeah.
That's what I've noticed.
Mm.
So, yeah, things that I did years and years ago, maybe little acorns that I planted, still coming back to me. So, yeah, I think that's helped. I've got lots of relationships that I've had for years and years that still bring something new.
So if, say, people out there organisations and businesses wanted to kind of, get some good stuff off of you, like what would you offer them in terms of to help their people? What would you suggest to them to do?
So yeah, I guess it obviously depends on what their outcomes are, right? So,
yeah.
So in terms of my offering, what it says on my website is I'll come in and facilitate and design sessions that help you achieve particular outcomes. So that would be a very kind of short, valuable interaction or set of interactions around a particular outcome to move towards. It could be visioning, it could be problem solving, it could be alignment, it could be team values, it could be quarterly alignment and retrospective, it could be a yearly team day, those sorts of things.
Okay.
Or it could be to meet a particular training need.
Yeah.
And so I do a lot of private training around the things that I mentioned. I do have standard offerings around product delivery and communication and team forming, but most of the time I customize those. And then I also work as a coach, so not as a contractor, but where I'll go in and work with leadership teams to achieve specific outcomes, normally around teams collaborating more effectively or accelerating delivery.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So that's, they hook me up on my website and then I'll chat and then we'll work something out together.
Wonderful, lovely. And I'll make sure those links are in the episode. We'll include all of those. Let's do a quick 60-second and then I'll ask you something else. Do you have one app on your phone that you should delete but you never do?
TikTok.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, it's such a time suck, and I should never have installed it. But whatever formula they have about, luring you in for 20 seconds of silliness. Yeah.
Well, and what are your thoughts about like AI and all this, the algorithms, and how do you feel about? And do organisations or startups want you to go in and help them with AI and with all your background?
I guess somebody like me, I'm more about human stuff. So I think in this time, our uniquely human qualities are to be developed. So I'm not sort of in the sharp end of AI. I do use it, as a sounding board mostly. Yeah. To help. I guess I work much better without a blank page. Yeah. So AI often talks nonsense and is often wrong, but sometimes it helps me rather than have a blank page to start with. From procrastination, it can help me get started. How do I feel about it? I don't know. Kind of terrified, I think. Yeah. I think slightly terrified. Having grown up in the late 70s and 80s, all of the sci-fi films that I watched are all coming true. So it's like, what's new? Yeah. But also an interesting time in terms of how we can be more productive.
Yeah. I think maybe AI and people using it or developing, I think they should slow down and consider people, like you were saying, more. And the good thing is that we all are now learning, it's more and more public, that AI gets it wrong.
Oh, completely.
So thank God, not thank God it gets it wrong, but thank God we're all learning and, talking about this, that it does get it wrong.
I'll say to it, did you just make that up? And I'll go, yes.
I think I asked AI the other day, I said, I want these lyrics, and gave me these lyrics. I said, no, they're not the lyrics. I want these lyrics. Oh, yes, no, you're right. They are not the lyrics. So it's good to test it. Jenny, have you got any kind of wisdom for people out there? In fact, if you had a billboard for future professionals, what would it be?
For future professionals. So I think there'd be a few things. There'd be kind of do you and find your best self and be more of that rather than try to be well-rounded. We don't need well-rounded people. No. We need well-rounded organisations and well-rounded teams. So go find what you're awesome at and be more awesome at it.
Oh, I love it.
Would probably be the thing. The other thing I'd say to leaders is would be about kindness, and how kindness doesn't mean softness. Being kind can be really challenging. It normally means sacrificing something. And so being kind is about doing the right thing even when it's really hard. So it's not about softness, weakness. It's about doing the right thing, which takes courage. So, and from my studies, I know how important that is for organisations. So, be kind. Don't be nice, be kind, and go be more awesome at the things you're already awesome at would be the two things. Oh
my gosh, what a lovely note to end on. Jenny, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mandy.
It's been a pleasure to have you. Just such an honour. Thank you. I'm going to cry.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching this episode with Jenny Martin. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. Please, can I ask you to subscribe, share and like, and look forward to the next episode with you. Thank you.